Today, it is 2020 election night on November 3rd, 2020. Currently, we have Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee and Donald Trump as the Republican nominee. Kamala Harris is running with Cory Booker as her vice presidential nominee, and Mike Pence is Donald Trump's vice president and is the current vice president. First, let's look at some polling. The 2020 polling shows that Harris has a 52% average on polls, and Donald Trump has a 48%. If you look at the very beginning, Donald Trump was leading very early in polls up to a 60% margin. But this was way before Harris started thinking about running. When she announced that she was running in the beginning of 2019, she boosted up in polls all the way to 59%. Well, suddenly she started dropping down, just like every other Democratic candidate. And around the very beginning of 2020, she was the Democratic nominee and got a very slight boost. But then she dropped down back into polls, and then now we have 52 for Harris and 48 for Trump. Harris is leading by 4% in the national polls. Harris is leading by 6% in New Hampshire polls. Ohio is expected to go to Trump by 1%. Maine at large is going to Harris by 10%, is expected to go by 10%. Harris is leading by 8 in Virginia. Trump is leading by 0.5 in North Carolina. Trump is leading by 4 in Georgia. Trump is leading by 0.1 in Florida. Trump is leading by 3 in Iowa. Harris is leading by 4 in Michigan. Harris is leading by 1 in Wisconsin. Trump is leading by 5 in Arizona. Trump is leading by 1 in Pennsylvania. Harris is leading by 4 in Nevada. And Harris is leading by 7 in Colorado. We have our first poll closings of the night at 7 p.m. 6 states are closing polls with 60 electoral votes on the table. In Indiana, Donald Trump is the projected winner with 11 electoral votes and 3% reporting. In Kentucky, Donald Trump is the projected winner of its 8 electoral votes with 4% reporting. In South Carolina, Donald Trump has won its 8 electoral votes with 6% reporting. It's actually 9 electoral votes, excuse us for that mistake. In Virginia, it's too close to call, with Donald Trump currently having a very slight lead of around 2.5%, with 7% reporting. In Georgia, Donald Trump is leading by a large margin, but mostly the rural counties have been counted so far, so it's still not enough to call it for him. In Vermont, Kamala Harris is the projected winner of its 3 electoral votes. This is the first Democratic win of the night. If you look at the national map, Donald Trump is currently leading by 25 electoral votes, with 28 electoral votes for him and 3 electoral votes for Kamala Harris. We now have our next poll closings at 7:30 p.m. with 38 electoral votes in 3 states. In West Virginia, all 5 of its electoral votes, excuses for the mistake, go to Donald Trump with 1% reporting. Oh, here we go. We have fixed the slide, and now West Virginia is projected to go to Donald Trump with 5 electoral votes. Sorry for the mistake earlier. In North Carolina, Donald Trump is not the projected winner. Donald Trump is currently leading by a 6.5% margin with 3% reporting. In Ohio, Donald Trump is currently leading by 2% with 5% reporting. In Georgia, Donald Trump's lead has narrowed down, but not enough for Kamala Harris to be in the lead, with 12% reporting. In Virginia, 16% is reporting, and Kamala Harris is now in the lead. In the national map, nothing has changed except for Donald Trump getting 33 electoral votes, 5 more than he had before. Polls now close in 17 states with 172 electoral votes at 8 p.m. In Alabama, Donald Trump is the projected winner of its 9 electoral votes, a very Republican state, but in 2016, Democrats picked up a Senate seat here. In Tennessee, Donald Trump wins its 11 electoral votes. In Oklahoma, Donald Trump wins its 7 electoral votes. In Mississippi, Donald Trump carries all 6 of its electoral votes. In Missouri, it's too early to call. This does not mean that it is too close. It just means that it's closer than expected, and we might have a too close to call projection soon. But that does not mean that Donald Trump is doing poorly. It just means that it is not as expected as it was supposed to be. In New Jersey, Kamala Harris is leading. It is too early to call, and as I said, it does not mean that it is too close. It just means that it's not, the margins are not as expected. In Virginia, Kamala Harris is now picking up a larger lead with around 5%, with 26% reporting. In Pennsylvania, Donald Trump is leading by 0.5 with 5% reporting. In Georgia, Donald Trump is leading by around 4% with 20% reporting. In Florida, Donald Trump has a fairly large lead with 6% reporting. In New Hampshire, Donald Trump has a small lead with 6% reporting. In Maine at large, 2 out of 4 of its electoral votes, Kamala Harris has a small lead currently with 8% reporting. In Maine's 2nd congressional district, Donald Trump is leading by around 10% with 6% reporting. In Maryland, Kamala Harris is the projected winner of all of its 10 electoral votes. In the District of Columbia, Kamala Harris wins all 3 of its electoral votes. This went to her by an insane 95%, the most liberal place in the country. In Delaware, Kamala Harris wins 3 electoral votes. In Connecticut, Kamala Harris wins all 7 of its electoral votes. In Rhode Island, Kamala Harris wins all 4 of its electoral votes. In Massachusetts, Kamala Harris wins all 11 of its electoral votes. In Illinois, Kamala Harris wins all 20 of its electoral votes. In Maine's 1st congressional district, Kamala Harris wins with 1 out of 4 of Maine's electoral votes. On the national map, it's gotten much closer, with 66 electoral votes for Trump and 62 for Kamala Harris. We now have 24 that are too early to call and 118 that are in the toss-up column. We have 2 state calls at 8:24 p.m. in Missouri and New Jersey, the 2 states that were too early to call. In Missouri, Donald Trump wins all 10 of its electoral votes, and in New Jersey, Kamala Harris wins all 14 of its electoral votes. Currently, the electoral race is tied, 76 for each candidate. We now have polls closing in Arkansas at 8:30, 1 state and its 6 electoral votes. Arkansas goes to Donald Trump. With his 6 electoral votes, Donald Trump will take the 6 electoral votes. In Virginia, Kamala Harris has not really increased the lead, but nor has really shrunken it. It's just decreased by 0.2%, with 37% reporting. In Florida, Donald Trump's lead is getting a little bit smaller, with 21% reporting. In New Hampshire, Kamala Harris has taken the lead by a very small amount, with 17% reporting. In Maine at large, 2 out of its 4 electoral votes, Kamala Harris is now in the lead with 25% reporting. On the national map, Donald Trump has picked up 6 more electoral votes, with him having 82 to Kamala Harris's 76, with 0 too early and 118 still in the toss-up column. Polls now close in 14 states, 156 electoral votes at 9 p.m. In the state of Louisiana, Donald Trump is the projected winner. In the state of Texas, Donald Trump is the projected winner of its 38 electoral votes, a huge prize for the Trump campaign. There was some talk about this possibly going to a Democrat in 2020, but that talk is wrong. In Nebraska, 4 out of its 5 electoral votes have gone to Donald Trump. In its 2nd congressional district, it's too close to call, but 4 out of 5 of its electoral votes have gone to Donald Trump. South Dakota, Donald Trump wins all 3 of its electoral votes. In North Dakota, Donald Trump wins all 3 of its electoral votes. In Wyoming, the most conservative state in the Union, Donald Trump has won this state with around 72% of the vote, with all 3 of its electoral votes going to Donald Trump. In Kansas, it's too early to call. We were not expecting an early Kamala Harris lead, but it has happened. And again, like we have said earlier, does not mean that Donald Trump will not win the state and it's too close to call. It just means that the margins are not as expected. In Florida, it's too close to call. It is still too close to call. Donald Trump's lead has stayed around the same point with 33% reporting. In Pennsylvania, Donald Trump is still leading. In fact, his lead has increased with 67% reporting. With Maine at large, Kamala Harris is a very small lead with 47% reporting. In Pennsylvania, sorry, we did not mean to repeat this slide. We do not know what has happened, but we will just move on. In Georgia, Kamala Harris is a very small lead now with 60% reporting. In New Mexico, Kamala Harris has an early lead of 53% with 21% reporting. In Colorado, Kamala Harris has 52% of the vote currently with 17% reporting. In Arizona, Donald Trump has an early lead with 12% reporting. In Minnesota, Kamala Harris has an early lead of 21%. In Michigan, Donald Trump has a very small lead with 26% reporting. In Wisconsin, Donald Trump has a fairly small lead. Sorry for accidentally skipping it. We'll just move on to New York. In this New York's 29 electoral votes, Kamala Harris wins. If we look at the national map, 105 electoral votes are currently going to Kamala Harris with 141 for Donald Trump. We have 4 state calls at 9:43 p.m. This is most likely going to be the largest amount of state calls that we have at one time. In Georgia, Donald Trump is the projected winner over all 16 of its electoral votes. This was a very hotly contested race, and Donald Trump was pulled up on top. In Kansas, Donald Trump is the winner of its 6 electoral votes. This was currently in the too early to call, so not really that bad of news for Donald Trump. In Virginia, Kamala Harris is the projected winner of its 13 electoral votes. This was more of a swing state back in 2016 and 2012, but currently it's becoming more of a Democratic state, with Kamala Harris winning its 13 electoral votes. With Maine at large, 2 out of 4 of Maine's electoral votes goes to Kamala Harris. If we look back at our national map, Donald Trump has 163 electoral votes to Kamala Harris's 120. We have poll closings at 10 p.m. with 21 electoral votes in 4 states. Also, we have 2 state calls in New Hampshire and New Mexico. Donald Trump wins Montana's 3 electoral votes. Utah is too close to call. Evan McMullin decided to run again and is currently neck to neck to Donald Trump. Kamala Harris has endorsed Evan McMullin and told her voters to vote for him instead of her, which it seems like a lot of Democrats have voted for Evan McMullin instead in the state of Utah, but not all of them. So it looks like Donald Trump is still in the lead with 12% reporting. In the state of Michigan, Kamala Harris has a large lead now. She has picked up a lead and is leading by around 6% with 65% reporting. In Iowa, Donald Trump has an early lead of 2% with 21% reporting. In Florida, Donald Trump has an extremely small lead with 81% reporting. In Wisconsin, Kamala Harris has a small lead with 51% with 54% reporting. She has picked up a lead here. In Nevada, Kamala Harris is the projected winner. This is a very early call and was not expected to go this early, but it has. In New Hampshire, Kamala Harris wins all 4 of its electoral votes. In New Mexico, Kamala Harris wins all 5 of its electoral votes. And now if we look back at our national map, we're sorry for it saying that Kamala Harris has 120 electoral votes. She actually does not. And Donald Trump has 163 electoral. Sorry, this is not what the actual electoral vote count. We do not know what has happened to our slides. We will move on because we cannot calculate it yet. God. Alright, it's 9:43 p.m. We have 6 state calls in Minnesota, Pennsylvania, Colorado, Ohio, Maine 2nd, and Nebraska 2nd. Pennsylvania has gone to Donald Trump, along with Maine's 1st congressional district and Nebraska's 1st. We also have Ohio going to Donald Trump, and Iowa is too close to call with 54% reporting. In Utah, nothing has really changed except for the fact that Evan McMullin has now increased his lead. Not increased his lead, has actually gained a lead with 57% reporting. In Florida, Donald Trump's lead has gained by very small amounts with 81% reporting. Michigan, Kamala Harris is leading with 53% of the vote with 83% reporting. In Arizona, Donald Trump is leading with 55% reporting. In Minnesota, Kamala Harris is the projected winner. In Colorado, Kamala Harris is the projected winner of its. Sorry, it is not supposed to say 10 electoral votes of its 9 electoral votes. If we look back at our national map, this is actually the correct numbers now. Sorry for our errors so far. Donald Trump has 206 electoral votes, the same amount that Mitt Romney had in 2012. Kamala Harris has 154 electoral votes. We have 2 state calls in Michigan and North Carolina, along with the 11 p.m. poll closings. Sorry for it saying 10 p.m. And not 21 electoral votes, but 5 states reporting. In Idaho, we have 4 electoral votes going to Donald Trump. Oregon is too early to call. We have already explained what too early to call is, so we do not need any further explanation. In the state of Utah, Evan McMullen's lead has increased a little bit with 79% reporting. In Iowa, Donald Trump has won with its 2 electoral votes with 85% reporting. In Florida, Kamala Harris has like a 1% lead with 91% reporting. Kamala Harris wins California, her home state. In Washington, Kamala Harris is the projected winner, along with Hawaii. And in Michigan, the first flip of the night, Kamala Harris is the projected winner. Along with North Carolina, Kamala Harris is also the projected winner here. Look at our national map. Kamala Harris is only 14 electoral votes from becoming the next president of the United States, with Donald Trump at 210. We have 3 state calls at 11:23 p.m. and 2 key race alerts. In Oregon, Kamala Harris is the projected winner of its 7 electoral votes. In Wisconsin, another large flip. Kamala Harris takes its 10 electoral votes. In Utah, a very, very big win for independents across the country. Evan McMullen has taken the states of Utah 6 electoral votes. A very, very unexpected flip of the night. We can now say that Arizona is still too close to call with 91% reporting. In Pennsylvania, this goes back to the too close to call. Kamala Harris has picked up a small lead out of nowhere, and we do not know where it has come from, but we have taken away its 20 electoral votes from Donald Trump, and now there's currently 97% reporting. In Florida, Kamala Harris has around 1% lead with 97% reporting. In Georgia, Kamala Harris has an insanely small lead with 99% reporting. If you look at our national map, Kamala Harris has been elected president of the United States. She has surpassed the magic number of 270 electoral votes. Kamala Harris has been elected the 46th president of the United States. Donald Trump concedes the election. Kamala Harris speaks in Oakland and San Francisco about her victory as the next president of the United States. Poll closings at 1 a.m. have now come. In Arizona and Pennsylvania, we have 2 calls. In Alaska, Donald Trump wins its 3 electoral votes. In Arizona, Donald Trump wins its 11 electoral votes. In Georgia, it's too close to call. Kamala Harris has a very small lead with 99% reporting. In Iowa, Kamala Harris is trailing by a very small amount with 98% reporting. In Florida, Kamala Harris has picked up a larger lead, but 1% is still left to report, which Donald Trump could, but very unlikely, but he could pull out on the top in Florida. Pennsylvania, it is a flip. Originally in the night, we projected it for Donald Trump, but suddenly Kamala Harris picked up a 1% lead, and she has now won the state of Pennsylvania. Evan McMullen has 6 electoral votes, while Donald Trump has 188, and Kamala Harris, the next president of the United States, has 293. We have 3 state calls in Georgia, Florida, and Iowa at 2:43 a.m. Iowa goes to Donald Trump with all 6 of its electoral votes. Georgia is a huge flip for Democrats. Kamala Harris picks up her 16 electoral votes. In Florida, another large flip for Democrats. Kamala Harris takes all 29 of its electoral votes. This is our final election map of the night. Kamala Harris has 338 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 194, and Evan McMullen getting 6 electoral votes. These are the chances throughout the night. Originally, it started with Kamala Harris having about a 25% chance of winning the election. Throughout the middle of the night, Donald Trump started leading in key swing states like North Carolina and Florida, but eventually Kamala Harris started leading in those states. Eventually, around 1 p.m., we could project that Kamala Harris was the next president. Here are the 2020 results. Nationally, polls were spot on, with 4% in the Harris column. In Virginia, polls were a little bit off by 1%, with Harris plus 9. In North Carolina, Harris plus 0.5. In Pennsylvania, Harris plus 3. This is a very contested state, but in the middle of nowhere, Kamala Harris picked up a fairly large lead. In New Hampshire, Harris plus 6. In Maine at large, Harris plus 8. In Florida, Harris plus 1. In Wisconsin, Harris plus 4. In Michigan, Harris plus 6. In Colorado, Harris plus 5. In Nevada, Harris plus 12, a very large margin. In Ohio, Trump plus 3. In Iowa, Trump plus 5. In Nebraska's first, Trump plus 6. In Arizona, Trump plus 2.5. In Maine's second district, Trump plus 2. Thank you for watching. I know I made a lot of errors throughout the thing, but this is my first time doing a actually good looking election night, and I actually made this a while ago. I'm currently working on a different one, so if you would have any suggestions for this, please tell me. And I know I made a very large amount of errors. I'm very sorry for that. I was not expecting me to have that many errors when I made this, and yeah. So if you want to see a different one, I'm currently working on a Beto O'Rourke one. I'm halfway done with that, so if you enjoyed this, please comment. So yeah, if you want to tell me any suggestions about the format, I feel like this kind of drags on too long. I feel like I should have it all in one specific slide. So anyways, thank you for watching. Also, this was not realistic at all. I was just having fun. Half of the states I really just decided by I flipped a coin because I really didn't want to actually have my opinion in this, because I don't know, I just wanted to have a lot of fun with it, and it was fun. I know the Evan McMullen would practically never happen, so along with the Pennsylvania thing, it depends, yeah, I don't know, this is my first time doing one. I know I made a lot of verbal mistakes and just errors here, but please excuse me for that. I'll try a lot harder on my next one. I'm gonna make sure that everything is all perfect and I hope that I won't have as many mistakes. So thank you for watching. This took a lot of time and effort. This is my first time doing one, and just thank you. If you liked the video, please like. If you didn't, then dislike, but whatever.